Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a family film from Australia, English language, released in the year 2024, directed by John Sheedy, and this film is called Runt. So Runt is about a family that live in the outback. It's a very tough life. Things aren't going great. It hasn't rained for a long time, so the livestock are struggling, and they're struggling to pay off their house. And they've also got a neighbour who's very rich, and the very rich neighbour is a bully. So he's trying to obtain everybody's livestock who lives nearby, and so they have a lot to battle against. But the main character, a girl, she befriends a dog who she ends up calling Runt. Now Runt is part of the family now, and he's a working dog, and he's very fast. And so the family are their family have the backs to the wall because they're failing to pay off the house, and they need a way to come up with some money. So this young girl decides to put Runt in this dog show. Now the dog show is an obstacle course. If the dog wins, it'll qualify for the championships in London. So there's prize money on offer, so she decides to get Runt into this championship, and they end up winning the rural championship, and now they've qualified for London. So the money is coming in, but unfortunately difficulties are going to arise, and this is up to Runt and the main character to fight against it. So what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Runt. I haven't reviewed many family films on this channel, but I decided to now because of the fact now I have a young son. And so I actually watched this movie with my son, believing that it is a family film, which is exactly what it was. And so I'm going to try and every now and then throw in some family films in there just to make it my channel a little bit more versatile. So Runt was a movie that I had expectations for, that it was going to be silly. My son liked the cover with the dog. He's a massive fan of dogs. He loves dogs. He loves our border collie that we have, and so he wanted to watch this film. And after watching this movie, it's exactly what I thought it would be. It's a very, very silly film. Now there are problems with that I'll go into a little bit later, but the most important thing is that my son loved it. So he loved Runt. He loved, he laughed in quite a few places, and so as far as a child is concerned, this is a movie that I highly recommend to people out there if you have children of your own, or if you just like family films in general. So when you think of classic Australian family films, you think of Babe, where it's the pig who wanted to be like a dog, and that's an absolute classic. And that, what made that film so great is that it actually had a lot in it for adults as well. So that's that's a determining factor of how good a children's film is, because if an adult can enjoy it, that's exactly what you want, because you actually have to go to these films with your children. So if the adult gets something out of it, that is definitely, I think, a really three-dimensional family movie. And so that was my criticism of Runt, is that it wasn't that three-dimensional experience, which I can't criticize too much for, because as I said, it is aiming towards a children's fan base. And so for that, as I said, it's a very minuscule problem. But what I liked about this film, it does have a very charming heart. It is actually quite funny in the script. I actually laughed a few times, not as much as my son laughed, but I actually found it quite funny here and there. I thought the characters were larger than life. Jai Courtney plays the father. I thought he was really likeable. The evil villain in this movie I thought was so over the top, which is exactly what you want from a children's film. He's not a disturbing character. He's a character that is something that children know is a bad guy. And so that was something that I liked. The movie is very light-hearted, and so it is very good, clean family fun. So if you're after something to watch with family, then Runt is definitely one I would suggest. The beautiful outback is captured in a very positive style. The hardships that this family have give this movie a base as to what this family's up against, and so you want this family to succeed. You want Runt to succeed. And what I also liked about this movie, towards the end, it does go down a different path. And that's something that I actually liked, is that it dared to be a little bit different. And so I was expecting this movie to go down a specific route, but it doesn't go down that route, and actually has a very strong message about, trying your best. And so that's something that you want your children to grow up with. Your children knowing that it's not about winning, it's about giving your all, 100%. And if your 100% is not good enough on that day, it's okay. And this is what the movie really symbolises in, as I said, that really positive, good, clean fashion. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, I would highly recommend you check out Runt. The problem I had with Runt, as I said, it is very, very clean, and so it is directed at young children, and as far as adults are concerned, it's really silly. And so yes, you laugh here and there, but you really have to disconnect yourself from it, and so it doesn't have that different level as far as adults enjoying a film's concerned. So that's something that disappointed me to some degree, but as I said, if it's aiming itself at a child's base, then you can't criticise it too much. But the great films like Up or or Inside Out. Those are movies that appeal to children but also have a message that's something that adults can enjoy. So it doesn't feel like a chore taking your child to watch a movie, whereas I thought this movie can come across as a chore to take your child to watch it because your child will get a lot out of it, but as far as an adult's concerned, it's not too much there. And so after a while I started to look at my watch, but I thought, my son enjoyed it, which was the main thing. So if it sounds like the kind of thing, I would highly recommend it. I'm going to give Runt 2.5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.